Guys, welcome back to another episode of Press C for Carnage. Hope you guys had excellent holidays. Join me as always is Cyber and Colin.
Hey, it's Jordan. What's up?
Hello.
And we got a guest on named Panda.
Hello, hello.
And my wife is here as well. Megan, hello.
Hi. Bye.
I mean,
Okay.
I was getting there, but so unfortunately, I did not have a joyous holidays. I had to work, but it sounds like Santa was good to Jordan. So, what'd you get this year, Cyber?
Yeah, so we're just gonna skip the news this week because it was gonna be a long podcast most likely because I played so many games over the holiday. All right, let's start
That's
with
a very interesting gift from CyberJman.
Oh yes, I sorry that your tangent or your segue was completely ruined. I apologize. I bought Mario Kart Live, which if the listeners don't know, it is essentially an RC car with a camera on it, and it like superimposes these QR coded cardboard cutouts, and you can like superimpose like live Mario Kart tracks using your Nintendo Switch into the real world, and you use the Switch controllers like Bluetooth to control the RC cars around your house. It is the coolest freaking thing I've ever seen, and I loved it probably more than my kids did. So
I got that last Christmas, still haven't played it.
oh, it's so good. You have to try it, dude. Oh my god, it's amazing. I literally propped the one side of my couch up with like wood blocks just so I could have it go underneath it as part of the track. Like, oh, it's so good. I totally worth the price that I paid for it. It was $100 per set, which one set comes with a set of QR coded tracks and the one car. And then so we had to buy 2 cars because we have 2 kids, and then I also wanted to play with them as well, so I wanted to hop in every now and again. So we got $200 worth of Mario Kart Live stuff. So
And
I
they
think
don't play with it anymore.
I would love to play with them with it, but they haven't said anything. So and I don't want to take the TV away just to play Mario Kart Live from them. So, but
They just watch YouTube.
But I really enjoyed it though. I give it 2 thumbs up for fun and price price versus what's the word I'm looking for? Quality or like the it was worth the price essentially. I can't think of what I'm trying to say.
Can't you play it with online friends too, or no?
I don't think so. No, you can play with up to 4 players, but it's two max per console. So you would need a second entire Nintendo Switch to play with up to 4 people because it's 2 per console. So it like split screens it down the middle. So no, I do not believe. I'm 99% sure it does not have like online play. You have to play with the people that are there with you. So it has NPCs. Like you can play with NPCs, which is the entire point of it. So you can play by yourself if you really wanted to. But to be quite honest, I would not even bother investing in it at that point for the price. If you're going to just play by yourself, it would be very boring. I would think, to be quite honest. So.
The tracks are amazing though. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I got sick.
Yeah, it's really cool having your live RC car get affected, quote unquote affected by real life items. Like when you get a mushroom and you use it in the game, your RC car actually goes faster like in real life, and it's hilarious to see. So, and when you hit a banana peel, you like lose control of your steering wheel for a couple seconds. Like it's actually really funny. So
That's really
Oh,
cool.
I'll probably have to play
Along
that when I
with,
go
like-
visit my brother in Texas.
yeah, you should totally
Along
play it
with-
with them. Yeah.
Along with like depending on like the speed, like 50cc is like slow and stuff.
Yes.
But as you get to like the higher of the CCs, it's like you just see the cars going zoom.
We were testing with I think it was 150. I don't think we did the fastest, which was 200 cc's, but we did
That is
150.
still locked.
It was still locked for us because you have to unlock it as you race. But we did the 150 cc's, and oh my god, those things were zooming. Woo! They were going around my couch like nothing. So,
Honestly, I'll
I
probably
have a
just play
question.
with it just to.
Can you pull drifts with them?
Yes.
Oh.
wait, I'm sorry.
You
Could you do what?
Pull drifts with them.
Yes, you can. Yes, there's a drift function. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really work that well. Like it like in the game.
It works for me.
It doesn't. It's like all simulated because you obviously can't drift because they're meant to be used on like carpet / like tile / hardwood. You can't actually drift but it like simulates drifting in the game. But what it really does is it just like tilts your camera in such a way that it makes it look like your car is actually drifting, and it adds like a bunch of effects to the view. But you're actually still going basically, wherever you're turning. Like you're still turning, the actual physical
It helps
car.
with not crashing.
So it is very cool, though. It is extremely cool.
The tracks are amazing.
Just to follow my dogs around.
Everyone's talking at
I want
once.
to see. Oh,
Colin, go ahead. You first.
I was gonna say I want to see someone rip the guts out of one of those, hook it up to a really fast modern RC car, and let it rip.
What I would actually like to do is I would like an outdoors version, to be honest. I would like the technology to put, like you said, like in a fast RC car, but with like outdoor wheels, like the wheels that are meant to be used on like like gravel and dirt roads and concrete. Because the cars as they are now they literally says in big bold letters on the box, it's like do not use outdoors. And I know if you look at the tires, you can immediately tell why. They're like real rubber, but they have no treads like at all. They're meant to be used on like carpet and stuff. So so do not use them outdoors. To the listeners listening, do not let your kids bring them outdoors. Your tires will be destroyed.
I definitely would have brought them outside just to play with my dogs.
I mean, maybe you could probably use them in the grass. Grass would be fine as long as it wasn't wet.
Concrete. Or concrete. Like,
yeah, you'd think concrete would find.
I don't know about your guys' concrete, but my concrete is rough. Like it would destroy those wheels. Like we have rough concrete here. So
even in the house, one of the wheels, I forget if it was on Mario or Luigi, but one of the wheels already came off in the house, and I had to put it back on.
Right. Well, one of
Racing
them
too hard one day.
He drifted too hard. One of them, Kiara, my daughter, she got one of the cars stuck underneath like the door into the bathroom because she kept trying to drive it into the bathroom while I was going to the bathroom. And I was like, you know what? So I moved the car. I picked it up and like tossed and turned it around and like pushed it forward to like get it away from the door. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna close this damn door or whatever. And she started giggling and she immediately like backed it up into the damn door as I was closing it, and then the wheel got caught. And underneath the door, and I was like, oh shit, and I thought I ruined it, and the wheel actually ended up popping off, but it wasn't broken. It was just like rubber that pops back onto like the rims. So but yeah,
it's easy to reattach.
Yeah, it was super easy. Yeah, they definitely are made to take a little bit of a beating. I would be really afraid of them like actually dropping it though, because the camera like obviously if it gets cracked at all, I don't think you'd be able to fix it very easily. So
like I'm almost curious if like the wheels can come off very easy. I feel like maybe they might make like separate wheels to be used for outside. Maybe.
Well,
or someone could
go
make
on Etsy for.
Yeah, that's genius. That's so smart. Someone should make like Etsy wheels that are like treaded that can go outside. That would be so smart. And maybe make it so it's propped up a little bit higher off the ground too. That would be really smart.
Add some suspension and stuff onto it.
Oh my god! So the axles don't get destroyed. That's funny. Carnage, do you have any thoughts? Have you seen any videos on Mario Kart Live?
I've watched the odd couple, and after listening to you guys rant, there's no way that Nintendo's going to release this for outdoor use. They will not be responsible for any water, dirt, sand damage, and can you imagine like the recalls? And so I think that dream is kind of out the window.
You really think so?
Yeah.
You really think so? Like,
if, there will be like Etsy, there will be modifications made by other people, but it's going to immediately void your warranty on any of the products.
And that's what I'm saying though. Like obviously it would do that anyway, because like I mean you don't see RC car companies getting sued left and right for their RC cars getting destroyed by weather and wear and tear and mud pits.
No, but I don't know. I just see it working out different for Nintendo, and I don't think they're in the business of making, all season products.
Yeah,
let alone kids walking outside with their Switches and dropping them, and
kids do that already. So
yeah, I mean, in hindsight, but the one thing I could say about this product is it brings back the world of sleepovers, slumber parties. Like, hey, bring your Switch over this weekend and let your kids play on our racetrack, or you could really create something cool for kids,
Right.
within your house. Going if they have enough power going up and down stairs, and
I haven't tried it yet. But I would assume. Well, they don't. Like I said, the wheels don't have like treads though, so I don't know how well that would work. But I do want to. What's up?
I don't know what the product really is, but the things you could create in your basement.
Yes.
Yes. Like you can make your own rainbow track, rainbow road track or neon lights. You could really deck this thing out, and I think it would be cool to make a video of sorts. I
mean, technically speaking, I guess in that case, you technically could use it outside if you have like enough, like rugs and carpeting and stuff. Cardboard, rugs,
plywood
like
or something. You could do it and just have the scenics, the scenery around you, but you could never go through grass.
Right.
Come on, have you ever actually tried to drive anything through grass? You forget how long grass actually is, even when it's cut really low. You're never gonna get through it.
I've been playing too much Grounded.
That's fair. I haven't played Grounded in a moment.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I kind of fell off of it as well. All right. Do you guys want me to go ahead and move on to the next game then, or?
Yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, I want to hear you talk about Mr. Choo Choo Charles.
Actually, it's funny you say that. I was actually going to move on to that one next. So, so I played Choo Choo Charles on stream. I added a bunch of clips of me screaming like a little girl on my TikTok, CyberJman.
Yeah,
but
I need to see that.
Oh my god, that game! Whew. Okay, so I have some thoughts. The game was made by one developer, as far as I know, and maybe two, but as far as I know, it was one guy, and the hype made him have to increase the amount of gameplay there, because at first it was literally just going to be like a quick Slenderman-like game. From what I read, he was going to just make it like collect the pages and then survive and upgrade your train while you collect the pages. There wasn't going to be like NPCs or an actual like lore storyline. It was literally just going to be Choo Choo Charles, this giant train spider, chasing you around the map of this island while you collect pages. But then, because of the hype making it so popular, he ended up having to, almost required to, increase the budget, so to speak, to like make it so there's NPCs, there's communication, or like quest lines and stuff like that, and new weapons. But I thought it was good for what it was. For what it was, knowing that it was made by one guy, I liked it a lot. I totally give it 2 thumbs up. It was totally worth the money. I have a few issues with it, obviously, but again, like if I tell the audience what my issues with it are, it's gonna sound like I'm griping at minor stuff, because it is made by one guy. It's one of those things where you have to keep referring to that. You have to keep reverting back to that statement. It was made by one guy. You can't really complain because he could only do so much. But then you also have to think about it though too, like the price. Like I think it was $20, like $19.99 or whatever. Like to me, it felt like a $10 game. Like it was like 3 hours, like 2.5, 3 hours.
And it probably originally was. Then he got the increase in downloads probably made him up the cost to pay for the budget on the story. And it wasn't really a story though. He just locked the features behind quote unquote NPCs.
Yeah,
that's all he did, is he locked items behind them.
Correct.
Which was very smart in the time
for gameplay reasons. Yes.
Yeah. Carry on.
I mean, so a few issues I have with it. The horror aspect of it kind of died off after like the first hour. It's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour game, give or take, depending on how long you want to take doing the side quests and stuff. So I beat it in about 3 hours total. Like I basically 100%ed it. There was only one thing I missed, and that was I missed like there was like 1 or 2 paint cans for the coloring of my train that I missed, and I really didn't feel like going back and grabbing those. But I did complete all the actual like story side quest and the main quest. But the horror element kind of dies off after a certain point, because like at a certain point I basically just said screw it, I'm just gonna roam on foot around basically the entire island, because I didn't care anymore. I was just like, there's no reason for me to be afraid of this train. I'm just gonna respawn.
There was no punishment for your action.
There was no negatives. I mean, other than losing scrap. But after like an hour, you basically get so much scrap. I had like 1,000 scrap. I had so much scrap saved up that when you die, you lose like 3 or 4 pieces of scrap. Like it literally had no negative impact on me or my life or anything. So after I realized that, I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't mind. I don't care if I die. Now, that said, that first hour before I found that out, before I realized that like dying had basically no consequences, I was scared shitless. Like I didn't know what to do, where I was going, how far he could detect me. I was honking my stupid train horn the entire time for that first hour, like an idiot, because I thought it was fun. I was like, yeah, choo choo. And then someone told me in chat, I think it might have been you, Colin, you were like, you do realize that's attracting him, right? And I was like, no, it isn't. Choo choo. Oh, crap, there he is. So the game was fun. I enjoyed it. It was worth the 3 hours experience. Was it worth $20? Not really, in my opinion. Maybe wait for it to go on sale for like 15 or even 10 if you can. But if you want to play it and support the developer, then give him full price for it. That's fine. I recommend it with those stipulations. But
it only benefits for another game if you do support him.
Right.
Obviously, he did an 8-star rating out of 10. On this first game by himself or herself, whoever the developer is.
I think it's a man, yes, but
it's the price is small compared to even if you lose the scare after an hour,
right?
He still drew you in for that extra 2 hours.
He did.
You're still drawn to complete. You want to see what that better gun is.
Yes.
In my opinion, based on the scare factor, I guess just go back to limited lives. You have limited lives.
Yes.
Or the more you die, the more scrap you need to repair your items are.
Right.
There has to be a bigger consequence.
Right. I would prefer a game mechanic. Actually, just a suggestion: if the game developer that made the game ends up listening to this for whatever reason, which I doubt because we're a really small podcast. If he does, my suggestion would be to make it so the Choo Choo Charles gets stronger and more aggressive the more he kills you, rather than like, because the way it's seen was like, and make it progressively harder. Make it like a progressive thing where like the more cocky you get, the more you step off of your train, the more aggressive he's going to get, the more bigger he's going to get, the stronger he's going to get. Or like
the more you upgrade your train, the harder he is to get to that halfway mark,
yes.
which scares him away.
Mm-hmm.
That's what killed it for me was. You always got him to that threshold where he would just turn around and go away.
Yes.
That's not scary to me, it's there has to be if the more you level, he has to level, or maybe he gets a flamethrower or a rocket launcher, give him something.
You get a flamethrower, he gets a flamethrower.
I understand why it has to have the whole leveling thing for you, but not him, and he has to leave at half health because they can't have you completing the game early.
No, and I understand that, but I agree with Carnage. They should make it. They should do it. They should do it by Dragon Ball Z rules. And I don't know if anyone's gonna get this reference or not, but they should do it by Dragon Ball Z rules, where the more he loses, the stronger he gets. Like the more times you piss him off, the more times he comes after you, and you half health him, and the more he runs away because he is half health. He heals and gets stronger. He gets, because I feel like that would be a better progression that would then end up keeping up with where your progression was, because it just kept, like Carnage said, it got to the point where I got like a rail gun and I was literally just like dunk, 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 dunk. Like I was killing him within like 30 seconds. Like I was just like, this is boring. I'm so bored. Like the boss fight at the end was kind of cool just because like how he died or whatever. I'm not going to ruin it, but like, it just, I don't know. It fell off. Like like Carter said, it was a good game because it kept me for the entire 3 hours. I agree with that statement. That is true. I felt like it fell off after like the first hour and a half. It wasn't scary anymore. There was no reason to like be afraid.
Sorry, I just
go ahead.
had you have zero chance against any NPC fighting. So when you're forced to go down these mines and find whatever resources they're sending you down, the moment you spook an NPC, you either have to die or run all the way back to your train to kill him.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Some kind of melee or something to help yourself.
I completely forgot about that. Thank you so much for reminding me. That is another aspect that really pissed me off with that game. And again, like I said in the beginning, you say it's like a minor gripe, like, oh, this game has just sneaking, but it's kind of terrible. Like, that is true, but then you have to revert back to the previous statement of it was made by one guy. maybe it could have been cooked a little bit longer in the oven as a game as a whole. Like maybe he could have taken another year to like kind of flesh out the minor aspects of like the enemy NPC human enemies that were like the cult that was, you know, praising and worshiping Choo Choo Charles. Maybe he could have done that. I don't know. I mean, people were kind of waiting for it, and he didn't want the energy to die down. So I understand it, like marketing wise, but I agree. The sneaking was trash. Like all you could do is like peek around corners, and then as soon as someone saw you, you have no weapon. You have no way of fighting back. You can't even like run and hide to like try to make it so they die down their attention. Like you can't go around corners and like try to lose sight of them or whatever. It doesn't work. They literally will chase you to the ends of the earth to a certain extent, and every time it happened, I had to run back to my freaking train, which sometimes was extremely far away from like where I was.
By his own fault.
It was my fault. You're right.
Yeah.
It was my fault that I parked my train 1.5 miles away. That's my fault. But that's besides the point, though. There should have been a mechanic for me to like sneak up behind somebody and like crack their necks or knock them out or something, because there were so many instances where I was like literally walking behind an NPC as they were walking on their patrol, and I was like, I could literally kill this guy right now. Why can't I do this? And then he would turn around and be like, "Hi, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Ah, crap!" So now I gotta run 1.5 miles to my freaking train, hop on the back of it, turn my turret around, shoot him because he chased me that entire way, and then run the 1.5 miles back into the cave system or whatever it was that I was in, fort, whatever it may be. And then
in hopes that Charles wasn't, you know, around at the time.
yes, which did happen. Yes, that happened, I think, once or twice, where I would run back towards my train, and like halfway back that 1.5 miles, Choo Choo Charles's music would start playing, and I was like, oh crap. So now I had to deal with this NPC enemy behind me and Choo Choo Charles on my ass. Like, oh my god.
That's interesting.
The game was good though. Like I said, with the stipulations that you go in with an open mindset, expecting not the greatest, but a good game. And like I said, if you can get it on sale for like half off, totally worth the price. Half off, like $10. I would play it again for $10 if I could, but I already beat it for the full price. So.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts? Have you guys seen any videos on the game? Do you have any thoughts on it from what you've seen, or if you've played it yourself? Panda, have you touched it at all?
Nope.
No.
I have no idea.
Any thoughts on it?
I thought it was.
It sounds terrifying. It sounds fun.
I watched Markiplier play it. It was interesting.
That's cool.
I mean, the most I've seen is like memes related to it, so that's it.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, all the cultists obviously watched Thomas the Tank Engine as a child, but you know, other than that,
Do you think
I won't
Thomas?
lie. I was
that-
terrified of Thomas when I was a kid.
which one did you grow up with? Did you grow up with stop motion or the animated, like the CG one?
I think it was stop motion.
That makes sense. I didn't like that one either. It kind of freaked me out too.
Was it stop motion? I thought it was a combination of like a perspective shift. It was like the toy. They had like the toy with the actual face on it. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
It was stop motion in the fact that they stopped the motion.
Yeah, it's stop motion.
Well, because I remember them having like actual people on set and everything, like to show perspective to how big Thomas was to the people. But they did like a perspective thing where like it was like a green screen essentially, but like the old way of doing it, and they had them in front of him.
Yes, any interaction or speaking scenes on Thomas, they would stop the train so they show his face features, and then when they just want to show the train moving, and then obviously it's a motion picture.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Like they use documentary clips of trains or something to make it look like
stock footage for Thomas the Train.
Right, yeah. Actually, I think you're right. I think it was actually stock footage.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And it's funny that you guys brought that up, because Choo Choo Charles does look like that red train.
Yes.
That was always mean to Thomas.
What was his name? Edward?
I don't know, but he was always angry, I think.
I don't remember the names.
The red one was friendly, I think.
It was another
Percy.
blue. It was another. No, Percy was Thomas's friend. It was
the other
another
blue one was the bigger one. He was nice.
Yeah, the big. Was he?
Yeah, hold on.
I
We
don't
have
know.
to. I can't believe we're talking about this, but we
No,
got.
James was nice, I think.
Who was the unfriendly train in Thomas? That's probably enough.
Nope. James is the nice one.
Thomas the train.
All right. Well,
Rosie.
Megan
No.
says Gordon.
No, that's
Oh, Gordon.
yeah,
It's
Gordon. Yeah. Rosie
Gordon
is the
Freeman.
red one.
No,
Gotcha.
James is the red one.
All right. Well, I'm glad you
Yeah,
guys want to go down memory lane of Thomas the Train Engine.
I
I
was
don't
yelling
wanna
that
go
in my
down
mic and I
memory lane.
forgot I was muted.
You were yelling at him. She was muted. He's like, Thomas, Gordon.
I was literally yelling it. I was like, oh shit, wait, I'm muted.
Oh my god. All right. I guess. You guys have anything else to say on Choo Choo Charles? Or
No. Just I'm looking forward for the next game if there is a next
I
game.
am
and
looking forward to. I hope he made
you know-
enough money to increase the size of his team and makes a really
Well,
cool game.
even if he did it, even if he broke even or went party hardy with it, he has the
The backing to do like
yes,
a Kickstarter type
he
thing.
has the backing, but he has the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm drawing a blank. He has
the background
momentum. The momentum.
Resources?
no, he has a name now. The
oh, right. He made a name for himself.
reputation. Oh
Right,
my,
reputation, yes.
that's a too big of a word for me. But yeah, he has a reputation now.
You just do street cred, man.
Street cred. Yo, I'm the guy that made
Yeah.
Choo Choo Charles, man.
And really, this game could have probably have been a Steam Deck game or a
certified?
mobile game. He really could have went on all platforms with this game.
It definitely doesn't
my
require. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a hard hitting PC. Like you could play this thing on a potato, it'd probably be fine.
Great reference.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to my next game. Like I said, there's a lot of them, so we're gonna be here for a little bit. So the next one, I played High on Life, the game from Justin Roiland and his video game development team. If for anyone listening, that's the gentleman who co-created Rick and Morty. It is also the voice of Rick and Morty in Rick and Morty. So he voices like 90% of the characters in this game, if not more. All right, so where do I start with this game? I played it on Game Pass. I don't know. It might still be on Game Pass when you listen to this. I don't know how long it's going to be on there for, but I would definitely play it on Game Pass if you're curious because it's free. Well, asterisk, it's free if you pay for Game Pass, obviously. It was totally worth the price of entry to play it on Game Pass because honestly, I stopped after like 3.5 hours. I'm not going to lie to you guys, the audience members that are listening right now. I did not enjoy this game. I did not enjoy it whatsoever. I enjoyed it for like the first hour and a half. It's a similar situation to like Choo Choo Charles, honestly. The game started to grind my gears. Like it started to grind on my ears rather, the body part, because the voices just like okay, so like I want to start off by saying I love Rick and Morty. I am a huge fan of Rick and Morty, but the reason I think I like Rick and Morty so much is not because of Justin Roiland's voices, which are good. It's the storyline. There's a coherent as best you can for a sci-fi story, but like there's a reasoning for everything that Rick does. There's a reasoning for everything that Morty does. There's a reasoning for all these characters to exist in line with the storyline. They all have a purpose. In this game, it doesn't feel like that. Everything just feels like a background character. Even the guns you're playing with feel like background characters. I don't have any compassion for any of these characters whatsoever. I don't care if any of them die. I don't give a crap about my human sister. Like, I don't know. It just, that and the voices, honestly, like, it just felt like the same voice 1,000 times. And I know that's the kind of spiel that, like, Justin Roiland likes to do, but it really started to get on my nerves after, like, 3 hours. I literally put it down, haven't touched it since, because I beat the first boss and was on my way to the second boss. Or sorry, I beat two bosses rather. Sorry, I beat the mantis chick and then the astronaut gentleman that was hopping around the pillars. So I beat two bosses. I was on my way to the third boss. I wasn't into it at all. I don't know if you guys watched me play it on stream or not when I was playing it, but I don't know. Have you guys seen anything about it? Do you guys have opinions on what you've seen? Or
I saw
played a
Jack
little bit
Black,
of it.
and that's it.
I played a tiny bit, only like the beginning. I didn't even get to the first boss yet.
Okay.
I think I was getting close to it, but my problem is I couldn't play it because it was lagging on my laptop.
Really?
I'm also on a 6-year-old laptop. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, the little bit I played, I did enjoy it, but I feel like I'd enjoy it more if I could properly play the game
without the lag and the right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the part where you get into the suit and you had all those ads.
Yes, so there's some moments. I'm not gonna say the game is
yeah.
bad overall. It's a decent game. If I was to keep playing it, if I wasn't so hard on it being so grating on my ears in terms of like narration and the interaction between characters, I don't know. I was sick of the sassiness, if that makes sense. I was sick of everyone having such an attitude. I was sick of the whining, the attitude, the just like I don't know. I just wanted there needed to be something in between all of these interactions with all of these annoying characters that was just like a breath of fresh air. Like I wanted a character that I could actually care about, or somebody that like made it seem like all these people weren't just like crazy. Like they weren't just, you know, Justin Roiland times 1,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have a question, Jamin. I don't know if this was in one of the current line of podcasts, maybe it had been in the other one, but you mentioned before this game came out, you had a really big concern about characters just having like 2 or 3 voice lines, like the guns just repeating the same things over and over again. Was that a problem from what you played, or?
No, not really. Actually, from what I remember from like the 3.5 hours I played, actually a lot of the things they said were pretty unique. I think they must have recorded like 100 hours for each gun or something, or not 100 hours. I'm exaggerating, but at least a dozen hours for each gun of like interaction between like him and him or her, because there's multiple genders of guns. But like there's like the interactions between the guns and you, and like there's different interactions between like what gun you have held out at the time and what you're actively doing. So like there's one part where you like there's a kid that comes up to you and he's like, kill me, do it, I bet you won't do it. And then like your gun's like, you like literally try to pull the trigger because you're like, I'm gonna shoot this little fucker, and then like your gun's like, no, don't do it, and it like forces you to not do it. And then eventually you get to the point where you could do it, and I was like, you know what, gun, you're right, I shouldn't do it. And even though they let you do it, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
And then he proceeded to turn around, quickly do it, and then walk off.
Yeah, so like, but there was what's up?
Is like if you talk to his mom without killing him, she'll tell you about how you know, he wants to be killed, and then that at some point she'll be like, I'm fine if you do kill him, by the way.
She gives you permission to kill him, and I was just like, okay, that's pretty funny. Like, but that was one of the things that kind of got on my nerves though too. It's just like, okay, this is funny, but then like you literally a minute and a half later you'll see a character that says that does the same thing. They're just like, yeah, go ahead and kill me, I have no will to live. And it's just like, okay, that joke was literally played a minute ago. I don't like, you can't come up with anything better than that. Like this it was funny the first time, but like I don't know, it just felt like the same joke over and over and over again. I just feel like Rick and Morty as a show works better than this because it had better writing, and it just like it was smarter. Like I'm not saying this game is dumb by any means. Like there's some parts where I'm like, okay, that's actually really clever, but then 90% of it is like, it's like an existential crisis on crack. I just like, I don't care.
It's the Morty part of the show.
Yes. It's essentially Morty times 1,000. I don't want Morty. I want more Rick. Give me more Rick. I want that smart character that says, you know, existential things that make me think about why I am who I am. And like this game is just like whine, bitch, whine. Like I'm just like, it drives me nuts, dude. I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with it. So
now, one thing I find amazing now, I haven't gotten to this point in the game, of course, but apparently you can actually encounter Rick in the game.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
It must be like an Easter egg or something. That's funny. But yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on the game, if we should just move on. But yeah, I do not recommend the game personally. If you like Rick and Morty, give it a shot, I guess, as long as you try it for free on Game Pass while it's still on there. I would definitely recommend that. I would not recommend paying $60 for it because me personally, I did not enjoy it. Panda says he likes it so far. If you could just get past the lagging issue. I mean, that's two different opinions. Take it for what you will, but that's my opinion on it. So that's where I'm going to stop. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if you guys have any other. What's up?
I do agree with the fact that the voices are nonstop and it's really annoying.
I would have liked the game much better if they had just gotten more voice actors, to be quite honest. I wish Justin Roiland is great and his range is okay, But the fact that they had 90% of the characters in the game voiced by him, it just stop, dude. Like, we get it. You like to be the voice of everything in the stuff you make. That's cool, but like, ugh.
But when your game has over like more than 20 characters, it kind of just isn't.
Yes, it just grinds, dude. It's just like, oh my god. Like, there's a couple characters that, like, at a certain points that are like, okay, these are actually unique voices. This is really cool. Like the shop owner and his son. Like, I could sit there for hours listening to those two argue with each other. I love that interaction between the son and the father. Those are two non-Justin Roiland voices. We need more of that. That game needs more of that. I love that. That is the exact reason I was enjoying the game for the first like hour and a half, was because of these random characters that I did come across that were unique voices and actually added to the fun factor of the game, where I was like, okay, this is actually a really good interaction with two characters. This is really good. It's not grinding on my ears. Like, yeah, I'm just repeating myself now, but I do not recommend the game. If you want to play it on Game Pass, see what you think. You know, that's my final say on it.
I wish there was more exploration.
What's that?
I wish there was more exploration.
Well, yeah, it's very linear. It's extremely linear. Yeah, and I there's a few areas where like I did find like cubby holes where you could like get like random chests, or there was like an Easter egg where the gun would be like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, I found an area where I could literally go into like the map, and the gun was like, you're not supposed to be here, but there was like literally nothing in there. It was just like the textures just like didn't load or whatever. And I guess they just didn't care about fixing it, so they just added a voice line just being like, you shouldn't be in here.
Like I guess there's a few spots where if you get to it like not normally,
yes,
it'll talk to you and say, you cheated to get here. How could you?
Right, and I think that was just like a combination of Easter egg / laziness. Like, they didn't want to fix the ability to prevent you from getting up there, and they were just like, yeah, just make it an Easter egg. Just put a voice line in there saying, hey, you shouldn't be here. Like, but
hey, listen, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, I mean, yeah, Panda, you said you enjoy it. So I guess that's one recommendation. Mine's kind of a meh. But yeah, you guys okay for me to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about me ranting for so long. I guess everyone's kind of like, dude, he went on for way too long. I'm sorry. So I guess the next game we can talk about is Sniper Elite 5. I don't know if I've talked about this on the other podcast before the holiday break, but I was playing quite a bit of it with my little brother. That is also on Game Pass. We were playing like co-op. We were doing the Sniper Elite 5 co-op mode, using the Game Pass version of the game. I was on PC and he was on Xbox. The game's good. The game's really good. I enjoy it a lot. It's got that. It's the same thing you've probably seen in the other Sniper Elites 1 through 4. It's, you know, snipers versus Nazis, snipers versus Nazis, snipers versus Nazis. You know, headshot cam, headshot cam, headshot cam. Like, that's literally the entire point of the game. Is it a great game? Meh, not really. Is it a good game? Yeah, I give it a solid 7 or 8 out of 10. Like, it's not, and maybe not an 8. I give it a solid 7. There's a few moments where I was like literally upset. I was like, this game is trash. I do enjoy the mechanic. I do enjoy the mechanic of like enemy players can join your game as like Nazi snipers, and they can like invade you. I love that. More games need to have that mechanic. I freaking love the ability of like what do I want to call it? Like passive. It's like passive multiplayer, I guess you could call it, where like you don't have to do anything and you don't have to like sign up for it, but you can like turn it off if you don't really like it. It's like, I guess Dark Souls kind of has the same premise, where like people can invade your world and like kill you. I love that. I freaking it gives you that like rush of adrenaline that you need when you're like bored. You're just sitting there like, oh my god, I killed 1,000 Nazis already. I'm so bored. And then it comes up with big red letters, blah 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 has invaded your game, whatever that person's username is, and you're like, oh crap. Like, it's so cool. I'm really enjoying it though. So have you guys seen anything about it or any thoughts?
I watched Jacksepticeye play it. I love bullet time.
I do love bullet time. Testicle bullet time is the greatest invention mankind has ever made.
That's okay.
Okay. He's like, I don't know what to say about this.
What's your headshot ratio to not hitting them in the head?
Well, I'm not very good at the long shots in that game because the bullet drop is extremely inconsistent, and that's one of the reasons I have an issue with, because they have like this mechanic where like the wind affects your bullet, but it's so inconsistent that it really pisses me off. So I try to get like
the wind, so it's very consistent.
Listen here.
See, when something's very inconsistent, it's not inconsistent, it's a constant. Learn these things, Jamie.
Okay, all right, Colin. All right, smarty pants. Put your pants back on.
What?
Nothing. It's just you showed me up with your smarty
Exactly.
pants. So you essentially, no, I'm not gonna explain it. It was stupid anyway.
There we go.
But no, yes, the game. I didn't enjoy the wind mechanic. Honestly, I would have been more happy with like an arcadey version without the wind mechanic. Just because like it was really annoying because like your bullets would like, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie Wanted from years ago with Angelina Jolie, where like the bullets go around pillars and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's essentially what this game feels like when you try to shoot above like 100 meters. The wind makes your bullet do like this weird thing where it like kind of goes up and then like down on an angle. And obviously that's what wind is supposed to do, I guess. But it's like a Wanted where like it like looks like it's trying to go around an object that isn't there, and it's extremely annoying. And when I think I have it in such a way, like the wind says nope, and it goes the opposite direction, and then it goes, oh, it drives me nuts so much. I don't even bother with long shots anymore. Like I got to a certain point where I literally just said screw this and started walking around the map crouched like and just like meleeing people and then shoving their bodies in the bushes. So I essentially just gave up becoming a sniper at a certain point. I was just like, you know what? Screw the sniper part of this game. I'm just going to turn it into a Splinter Cell game. So
Screw the sniper part of Sniper Elite 5.
correct.
like-
Yes.
Okay.
No longer Sniper Elite.
My brother though, he was getting headshots for days. I don't know how he was doing it, but he was really good at hitting like those 300, 400 meter headshots. And I kept asking him, I was like, how are you doing this? And he goes, I don't know, I'm just doing it. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. You be my backup. I'm just going to run in and crouch walk kill everybody. So,
Look, Leroy Jenkins didn't work for a reason, J-Man.
it did for me.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so the game was okay. I like a solid 7 out of 10, maybe a 6 at certain points. I was just like, ugh. But it was, if you get it on Game Pass, totally worth the time spent playing it if you have a co-op partner. I feel like you're pretty boring by yourself. So, all right, you guys have any other thoughts or just move on?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, next one. There's a lot. I played Dark and Darker, the playtest, the alpha playtest that was on Steam like a couple weeks ago now. It was like the end of December. And if anyone doesn't know what that is a first, I guess you could switch between like first and third person. Excuse me, sorry. It is a Dungeons and Dragons like it's like Dark Souls, and Dungeons and Dragons had a baby with like Warzone, like Call of Duty Warzone, but without the guns, if that makes sense. Like it's essentially a battle royale. It's set in a hardcore Dungeons and Dragons Dark Souls like game. I don't know how else to explain it. So they make you have like spellcasters have spells per day, and like you could put fireplaces down like campfires, and you could rest at them to get partial like spell uses back. So like you can have like one level like tier 3 spell or like 7 tiered 1 spells or whatever, because that's how many your slots are, like how many slots you have open. And then you level up your characters with each successful extraction from the dungeon. There are other players in the dungeon with you. There's a cleric, there's a wizard, there's a barbarian, there's a rogue. The rogue can literally go invisible. It's insane. I've gotten backstabbed a lot. It was extremely annoying. The game's good. I like it. Was just an alpha from what I know, so obviously it was really rough around the edges, but I like the foundation. I like where they're going with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses with its development over the next year or two. So have you guys seen anything about that? Dark and Darker is what it was called?
No.
No, I have no idea.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I'll just move on. Oh, sorry.
I said it sounds cool though.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I definitely enjoyed it. I got a little pissed off at a few points, but I mean that's what happens when you play a PvP game. Technically, it was PvPvE. It was player versus environment. There was a bunch of NPC skeletons and stuff. So, all right. So next one, Carnage. I guess Carnage and Panda actually, because Panda plays it too. Do you guys want to talk about New World, the MMO that we've been playing? So
yeah, I mean, I think we're a year late, but yeah, let's have at it.
yeah. So Carnage and I have been playing New World together with my brother and my wife for the last week or so. I mean, my wife got it a couple days ago, or started playing a couple days ago. But yeah, I've been enjoying it actually. I mean, obviously there's some issues with it, but Carnage, let's start with you. I've been talking a lot already, so.
Yeah, almost turning into a press C for cyber.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I played 7 games over the break. My bad.
Yeah, it completed 1.
Wow, wow.
My opinions on New World. It's a 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Okay. That's pretty good.
It brings back the nostalgia of Warcraft when you gotta complete a endless amount of quests and
Yes.
roaming and upgrading your individual skills and what have you.
Right.
The only con that I faced so far is the amount of environmental creatures. Why is there such a vast number of wolves roaming around and I guess just wolves everywhere, lynx and pumas, and why is there so many? On top of this evil that we're trying to extinguish, we have to worry about an abundance of wolves. It just doesn't make sense to me. Not that they're hard; they're just an annoyance.
I mean, that's just
Imagine complaining about a complete ecosystem.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, Carnage. That's just MMO logic, my guy. That's not.
Yeah.
You're never gonna get a game that's realistic in such a way that it has multitudes of different types of animals.
No, I'm not asking for multiple animals, and I'm not really asking for anything. But can't they be zoned? It's it
have
just
wolves
seems
in this area and bears in this area, and
Well, so
Yeah.
technically it is like that actually. So when it comes to some of the starter, I guess, areas, technically, there are a few areas where wolves and bears and pumas are really common, while there are other zones where you rarely see them at all, where you'll start seeing elk and some weird demon tree. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't a tree. Boars, and there's even God, it's not a bull. Bison that will just chase you down.
right.
Oh, so there is so
Yeah.
far the bison that I've seen, they're passive. They're not they
Aggressive.
don't
Yeah,
aggro.
so there
right.
are passive bison, but there are some that are just absolute dicks that will ruin your day.
It seems like it's based on level of the area.
I
Yeah.
guess so. I mean, I don't know how much playtime I have, but I just got to level 40, probably from over resourcing and staying in a territory, but I haven't explored the north part of the map to,
I was
guess.
gonna say all 4 of
Don't
us.
go there.
Don't
will die.
go there, he says. I was gonna say
You will
you and Josh, my little brother, and my wife Megan are all kind of still hanging around the 1 to 17 level area, even
and
though we're all
that's
level
because-
30. So,
Well, that's just it. Is we all started at different times, and I grinded and got my level up to yours, and we started the questing together. Then your wife started to play, and then Josh didn't play for a couple days. So we're all different areas, and
Right.
I guess we're really just trying to get everybody together on the same quest line
Correct.
to go forward.
right.
I mean, the graphics are awesome. The lore is repetitive,
Yes.
except for the chick's voice. I apologize. I
Oh
don't know
my
what her name
God.
is.
Say this. That
But-
voice thing is completely new to me. Last time I played, that wasn't in the game.
How could you play this game without that sexy,
Oh, it is
sexy
So
voice?
different.
Oh,
From
is.
last time I played compared to now, they've changed 90% of the game.
if I could have one thing changed about correction. If I get to have 2 things changed about the game, it would be 1, way more voice lines for that sexy mind chick that keeps talking to you in your head. Oh my god, I love her so much. And 2, give me a mount, goddammit. Give me a freaking mount.
Sorry, third point. Swimming.
Oh, you mean lack thereof?
Any kind of swimming mechanic. Like you let me drown, but you won't let me prevent myself from drowning.
I think it's One Piece rules. We all ate the fruit of magic, blah blah blah, and now we can't swim.
That's the thing. In the, I think it's the first phase of the alpha, you could swim.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say because in this version you definitely cannot.
Right, and then once the game released, it was removed. No one knew why.
It must have to do with the coding, and I imagine that because there are 1,000, actually no, now there are 2,000 lobbies. I imagine the server like
calculating
strain,
water physics.
Yeah. So let's
annoying.
say even just 500 of the 2,000 trying to swim. I can only imagine what kind of stress that would put on the server.
Because of the water physics or whatever. Yeah. I was thinking it might have been actually because the game was buggy, way worse than it is now that we're playing it like a year later. But
well, perhaps, and like the mount issue. Now that I said all that, the mount issue. I remember with Warcraft, the mounting issue would really lag out the moment you get to any kind of capital.
Right.
And everybody has their mount out and flying and sitting.
Oh god, when you're in the middle of a city in World of Warcraft, dude, the lag. Oh.
Now they could do it where the moment you go through the settlement, you dismount regardless. They could do it that way.
Right.
But yeah, it's why there's no mount or why there's no we have fast travel, but give us a boost, give us some kind of like edible to give us a little bit more speed. Like there's
right.
And you read the forums and people have been begging for this small change for so long that
right. And they could easily make so much money, like microtransaction wise, if they just sold mounts. Like just give everyone a basic horse and then say, hey, you want a badass lion? $15. Like
it doesn't even have to be a mount. Just sell us boots. I will buy out of the store boots.
Give me boots of Hermes, gosh darn it.
Yeah. So that does drag on, and not so much when you're bouncing through the quest objectives because they're usually it's small proximity, but when you gotta hike to a far corner, so far from any fast travel, and you've already used your recall to your end, you're jumping down the.
I do want to clarify. Sorry to interrupt you. I do want to clarify that they do expect you to travel on roads between huge, like long distances, because the roads give you quote unquote a buff. They give you a 15% speed buff, which, to be quite honest with you, I think is completely bullshit. I think they just give you a little icon that says you have a buff, but it doesn't actually give you shit. Because I can tell you right now, there is no goddamn difference between me walking or quote unquote running and me sprinting with the buff on the roads. Like they're literally the identical speed. Like.
Even if it gave a tremendous buff, the amount of resources that you're missing from point A to point B doesn't make it worth it.
Well, and the roads aren't even straight; they like squiggle. So, like, even if you want to stay on them to get the buff, you'd be taking more time.
And if you're tired of, let's say, combat, most of the roads make you go through a village filled with something that wants to tackle you or. So it's an inconvenience.
It extremely is, yes.
But going away from the tremendous bad, I think I will give it still 7.5, 8 out of 10. Great graphics, great gameplay. It's kind of a hack and slash.
The combat I actually enjoy a lot. I'm actually really enjoying the combat. And that's like the only reason I'm that and the sexy lady in my head.
The only other issue I have is the aggro. Right now, I can't seem to hold aggro, even with the taunts.
You're going tank build? Gotcha.
Oh, 100%. And I don't know if I'm just too early in the in the game.
I've been over aggroing my brother. My brother he's a melee, like a rapier build or whatever, like armor piercing build, like I guess DPS technically, but he's supposed to be technically doing more damage than me and or aggro, in conjunction, because those two things go together. Whenever we're together, me and him, because we were questing together originally before, you and Megan got on the game with us, I'm a healer / like fire mage. Like I use a fire staff, and I was out DPSing him, even though we were the same level, and he had the same leveled weapon. and I was getting aggroed, and I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. Like, you should be the one getting the aggro because you're actually up in their face doing melee damage and technically doing more damage because from what I saw in the numbers, like, and it was really irritating. I agree with you. The aggro is all over the place. So, but yeah, I definitely, I give it huge props. The combat actually feels really good. It's one of the reasons why I kept playing it. That and the sexy lady in my head. I just want to keep listening to her voice. I wish she had more lines. But
I think she does.
Probably.
Every settlement you go into, or
right.
once you start interacting with a settlement or an area, she does talk more frequent, which is nice.
Right.
The only problem is there's no. I guess once we start going into the main storyline up north, we're probably more consistent and more understandable.
Right.
But right now, every new territory I go into starts talking and saying stuff like I should understand what the fuck she's saying.
Right.
But
most likely you're supposed to find it's supposed to be a long-winded back and forth type thing where you're supposed to find that village after, talking and doing some quest where they explain something to you and they just don't have the proper voice.
Yeah, well, in this game, there's a few different starting areas that you could start into, and she'll talk to you in either one of them, and she has her own little beginning dialogue per one. So if you roam into a territory, she's gonna start talking to you and start going on a spiel that you have absolutely no idea what she's talking about.
Something about you'll never succeed in your mission to stop me, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
I don't care. I just want to listen to her voice.
But I don't know. I have high hopes that the end game will be a lot better, or
Right.
The end of the story after the grind we've put in. So
I just the one thing I want to start doing is collecting like really cool weapons with really cool abilities, like weapon sets, legendary weapon sets from like the dungeons or the expeditions or whatever they call them in this game. We haven't done any of those yet because we've been waiting for my wife Megan to get a high enough level to join us, because I want to do it as a 4-man once we get everyone up to a level. So but once we do that, I'm really looking forward. Dungeons are my thing, dude. If the dungeons in an MMO are not good, that's where I fall off, because dungeons are like the thing you're going to be doing for the entire time once you reach like end game. So if dungeons aren't good, then
hordes of enemies in a dungeon.
Hell
There
yeah.
has to be. And if there isn't, it's just gonna be boring.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. That, and I'm a healer too, so it's gonna be really fun for me. So I want you to aggro the entire room. Yeah, that's
I
cool.
recently got I made a new character when I joined your server, I think it was.
Right.
And I gotta say I'm enjoying the greatsword. The
that's
greatsword's
cool.
completely new to me, so I'm enjoying that a
Oh, I
lot.
was gonna say, is that a new weapon for you because you played a year ago?
Yeah.
So
It's a new weapon altogether from what he's saying.
gotcha. Didn't you say there was one other new weapon as well, other than the greatsword? Or
So for me, there are 3 new weapons. There's the greatsword, the void gauntlet, and the blunderbuss.
oh, okay, cool. So that means they're actively adding weapons within that year's time. That means we can expect probably 3 more during this year. That'd be cool.
From what I heard, they actually plan on, by the time they get to that point of what I would consider endgame,
Right.
they plan on adding around 50 or 60 new classes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
that
they
sounds
have-
cool.
Hard dedication, they even announced a few weapons back in pre-alpha that never came out, and one of them was the void gauntlet.
Oh,
And
hell
to know
yeah.
that it finally came out made me so excited.
Yeah, I didn't really care for the Void Gauntlet in the beginning. I tried it, because it's one of those things where it sucks at first, like its main attack is trash, and then it's one of those things where you have to use it to level it up. So like I was just like, I don't want to put the time and effort into leveling this thing up to get to the point where it's going to be good, because I saw the skill tree and I was like, this thing is going to be good, but I do not want to put the effort in to get to that point. So what were we gonna say, Colin? You look like you're about to say something.
No, I gotta say nothing about this. I don't play the game, but I mean, it's cool that they're constantly updating it and
Right.
I know.
keeping it alive.
I just
Wasn't
want to
this the game
apologize.
that Amazon made?
Oh, sorry, 1 second. I just wanted to apologize to the listeners who heard that. I forgot to mute my system chat, and somebody on the stream decided to spam my text-to-speech bot. I apologize for that. What was your question, Colin?
Wasn't this the game that was made by Amazon?
It
or-
is. Yes.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
They actually
I
have
hear that
2
it-
games.
To hear that it's not a sellout game and it's good, That's props to them.
I mean, it's got microtransactions, so it can.
What's
be
funny
fun.
is they have two games, New World and Lost World.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of Lost World. I've never heard of that
Lost World is a very
I
different game.
haven't looked into it, but I have heard it.
I find it fun, but it's completely different from New World. It's all top down.
Oh, I don't like those kind of games. That's gotcha. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but yes, it was made by Amazon. So, yeah, I honestly I am really surprised. I agree with you, Colin, about how they because it does have microtransactions, but it is a paid MMO. You have to pay to get in, but there's no monthly fees, which is nice. But they have to pay server costs some way. And honestly, the microtransactions are not terrible. They are a little pricey in my opinion when it comes to certain things. Like you can buy like a pack of skins for your tools, and it's like 3,800 points, which I think is like $38, I believe. Like that's a little pricey.
No, your number's a bit off.
Was it 38,000?
The real world to currency isn't a bad. Like I'm not gonna I splurged, but that part is fine. The transition's fine. And the weapon skins and the bundles, that's okay. And same with the armor. But the moment, so I bought an armor pack which was about 13,000 of their in-game points.
13,000, right? They're in thousands, right?
13,000 for armor. Now I wanted also. I happened to see an emote that I wanted to use, which is a whistle.
Right.
They wanted 5,000 for a whistle. 5,000 points, which is it's just an emote. So they want me to spend 5,000 on that,
which
and
is $5. Yeah.
For 13,000, I got a whole armor set. That's the part that's the microtransactions are like, hey guys, you are really trying to scam the small things here.
Oh,
yeah.
What it is they probably had A versus B teams working on certain things. So the pricier team things that were made have to be pricier.
What were we going to say, Panda?
So one thing I should mention, which not many players know this is something I only found out from playing the beta that moved into the actual game. Emotes actually do something.
What?
Yeah, emotes can actually do something in certain scenarios. So
is that why they're color-coded?
From what I'm aware, yeah. So whistling, for example, can actually help lure enemies to you if you're trying to be a tank. Now, it doesn't always happen because if the creature's too strong, they'll completely ignore you.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that seems kind of cool, I guess. I don't know.
It can be useful if, say you're in one area and you're trying to, get some enemies come towards you while your friends can get around it, for example. Right. You can whistle like in Assassin's Creed, for example. You whistle, they'll see you, come to you, and then your friends can get past.
I mean,
and then come
or I could just fucking shoot them.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you that's true. But if you shoot one that's too close, I like to lure enemies in. Let's say there's a cave,
right?
With I like to kill off the ads first before I go in because they're always a pain. So yeah, I'll shoot them. But if you shoot one that's too close to, say the bear's coming out with them. So. I understand the whistle, but I was still $5. Bring it down to like $1, please.
Yeah, even $2, like $2.50.
Like that's a little extreme, and I think there's like a flute or something that I saw, and the same thing. They wanted like 8,000 or something for this instrument. It's like, why? Why are you?
The instruments are for players that want to play the role of like a bard kind of thing.
No, I understand that, but it's just a skin.
Yeah,
it's not the actual instrument.
No, it's definitely a skin. And the biggest struggle about that is, like, first off, I tried playing an instrument. That shit's hard as fuck.
Tell me about it.
Yo. But like. The skin, I don't understand the point of the skin for a flute being so expensive. Like
See, it's, unless you're like zoomed right in on your character to see what the hell the guy has in his mouth, you're never. Who cares?
I mean, like the only instruments that would make sense for that would be like the bass and the drums, like because those are actually like in front of you. But like even the guitar is small enough to where like it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's just like who's gonna pay for that? And why would you pay for it? It's just that's where the microtransactions are all out of whack. The only thing I do like about the microtransactions is you can't pay to win.
Yes,
that I agree with. So you're paying for cosmetics.
Yes,
if you want to, that's great. But
I guess the closest pay to win thing is the ability to pay to transfer your character to a different server.
That's not.
But the thing is, even then, a lot of servers, if they're completely full, you can't transfer them to that server. You would have to make a new character, and that's
you have to use real world money, to transfer from server to server. It's just there's no point.
All right. Well, since we're talking about full servers, by the way, we got to talk about the one thing that really grinds my gears. The bots. This game has a serious bot problem. Like, and it's really odd to me that it does, considering essentially it's free to play, but there is a barrier to entry in that you have to pay for the game. Like, why are there people out here buying botted copies of this game or like not botted copies, but like copies of this game to bot in? I don't understand the reasoning.
They're probably reselling their characters, their leveled characters to other players.
Yeah, you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. It's
not uncommon. You saw it in Warcraft and Diablo and
TF2.
It's really an actual free game. Okay, they don't stop anywhere. So
right.
It's people are lazy, so it's.
No, that makes sense. Now that you said that, I was wondering what the hell the point was, because I'm like, you can't like sell gold in this game, or at least not from what I've seen. Like,
no, and it's for anybody who has tried to play it. It's like, hey, I want to chop down this tree. I need my wood chopping at level 50. Well, we all know how long it takes to get to level 50. It's
right.
Takes forever, or mining, but.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's if that dulls you out, you should not be anywhere near an MMO.
Exactly. That's right.
Bottom line.
Well, yeah. The thing is though, is it really upsets me is we've been playing, me and my brother Josh have been playing pretty regularly on this game for a good week and a half now, like almost constantly, like every other night at least. And I've reported the same like 6 bots over and over and over again over that week and a half, and they're still in the game. Like
what do you mean, like same names?
Yes, literally the same bots.
Okay, that's a.
So when it comes to the hand waves, it comes within a month.
Okay, you guys are talking at the same time. Colin, what?
I was gonna. TF2 has the same thing where the bots literally will have like the same name. You'll find hundreds of bots with the same exact name.
No. They're uniquely named, but they're not uniquely named. They're named like ABBCCDDAABLL. Like, but you could obviously tell like that's the same one. You
keyboard spam.
Yes, yeah, a bunch of them are keyboard spam. There's quite a few that are like not, like they're unique in a way, but you also know they're a bot. Like a bunch of random words that somewhat make a word, but yet you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, but like I've reported the same bot person or avatar repeatedly, and I know for a fact that they're the same bot because I click on their name to report them again a second time, and it says unblock ? Because I've already blocked them, so that way I don't like have to deal with their chat messages or whatever in case they do end up chatting with me for whatever reason, which they haven't, but because all they do is they do a patrol. And it's so stupid too, because it's so obvious that they're bots, because they all they must be running on the same computer or same, they have to be, because they all have the same issue where they're all in the same patrol path to like go around the town / like island area in the first like beginning zone. It's like levels 1 through 17 or whatever. They follow the same path. That's like this tree, this tree, this tree, this tree, rock, this tree, like the same path all the way around the edge of the island, and then come back, sell the materials they collected up to that point, and then do the same path again. And I've literally seen like 3 bots like back to back, like Choo Choo trained the road / like off beaten path to do the same trees, and it's so stupid. I'm just like, like Amazon, fix your shit, man. Like, how hard is it to ban bots, man? Like, if you ban them regularly,
Very.
like if they ban them regularly, they would make it way harder for them to come back because they have to purchase a copy of the game every single time they want to do this. So like, the investment would be pointless if they actively kept up with banning bots. But
I mean, how much is the game? Like, I'm assuming these are base players; they're not purchasing anything special. So, like, how much for just a regular copy of?
well, it was on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale right now. I think the sale ended on like the 6th.
For me in Canada, the base game is $51.
So what, like 40 something over here?
It's $39.99 regularly, but I got it on sale for me and Josh. I bought it a copy for me and Josh, and Carnage bought a copy for Megan. But it was on sale for $20 essentially.
So these people are probably they'd have to make a profit to keep this up. So I guess maybe, but for all we know, they're basically leveling these characters to stupid amounts and
Yes.
basically making $50 per character.
Yeah, they'd have to be at least making double, right? I mean, it would make it worth the
What they could have
investment.
done is they could have wait till sales and then buy a shit ton of the game.
Right.
That, or the obvious answer, piracy.
Well, you can't pirate now.
You can't pirate it, but if these games are, and nothing against race, if these games are being bought out east, overseas, and selling it for American dollar after the accounts in American, they're making a tremendous profit.
Yes,
So,
for sure.
Who knows how it's going down? It is annoying, and yeah, I don't know why Amazon hasn't corrected it or found a way to correct it. But
Now, when it comes to the ban waves, they do it in waves. It's usually 2 to 3 weeks, almost a month when they do.
And that's my
massive
problem.
ban waves. I know, and I feel like they should do it. I would say at the most a week.
Once a week. Yeah. I would
But-
say yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard that there's reasons. I don't know the reasons why, but I guess there are reasons why they don't.
Well, I
Maybe
do have a
it's-
question. Do the bots do anything? Like, are they taking resources that couldn't be gotten otherwise?
Well,
Or, like, what are they doing?
So
Well-
after you get past the first zone or whatever, I don't really see a lot of them after that point because they basically just huddle around the initial like 1 to 17 zone /
But
area.
did they cause
But-
any problems?
Well, they did for me because there are certain resources in that beginning zone. Until you get out of that zone into like the slightly higher one, certain resources are very rare. As an example, like iron. Like there's only very specific places
iron.
where iron is a pain in the ass to get, and there are only like 3 or 4 nodes of them. And these bots, I literally saw a bot have like a patrol where he would like do circles, the same circle over and over and over again on this little cliff edge where I would like to go to grab iron, and he was just like doing circles, collecting them as soon as they spawned. He would like go to the ones, and the thing that makes me so mad is that the nodes spawn in the same spots. Like, can't they? One of 2 ways could fix this bot problem easily. Is either make it so the nodes are randomized and like random spawns, like one of 100 locations where they can spawn or something, and never never the same spot twice within a certain time frame, or they can make us just like they do with like the barding, where you become a bard, you have to play like its little Guitar Hero mini game or whatever. I really enjoy it. I like it a lot, but you have to actively play an instrument like Guitar Hero to level up that profession, that ability. Why can't they just do that like fishing?
They could. I mean, for all you know, there is something, but the bots would get around it. The reason they're not doing active banning is because, again, for the most part, like you said, they're taking iron, which, yeah, sure, for the new player, that's rough, but you occasionally get it. Then you leave, and like you said, there's no one out, so they're not going to put resources into doing a mass ban if there's really no hard effect. It's not like TF2, where it's sniper bots and they're getting all the kills and making it unplayable.
Right. Well, my main thing is though, I agree with you. I agree. It makes new players' lives kind of a hell. But the second thing is they flood the market with like cheap resources, which is extremely annoying because like the game has an economy that is very strict like player made, player sold items and resources. Like, and you have these bots out here selling literal thousands upon thousands of stacks of iron and copper and wood. You know, it just destroys the market. It just destroys it. Like,
so, but are they selling it on the cheap?
yes,
Like cheap,
extremely cheap.
So can you buy it for, like, I wish you could buy it from them, because if you can buy it on the cheap and then find an area where there's no bots, you can sell it up for a mark.
Yeah,
so sell it for a marked up. Yeah, just sell it up for a marked up price. Use the bots to your advantage.
The problem is anybody can just fast travel to where.
Well, I actually did that for a while. I took advantage of bots. Sorry for interrupting you, Carnage. I took a huge advantage. For a while, there were a lot of resources that were almost impossible to get early on, but you would see bots always sell them for super cheap because, you know, they would. Mm-hmm. So I would always buy out everything that a bot had and then resell it for higher at a higher zone area. Mm-hmm. And you would always make bank that way.
I was gonna say, I don't understand what you guys are talking about with that regard, because as far as I can tell, the auction houses are all connected, because there's a thing at the top right that says there's a literally thing at the top right that says all, like, it's a drop down menu. It says like, oh, would you like this location, or all of them? And I literally have mine defaulted to all. So I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's automatically set to all, but you can't exactly see all. Like, it's hard to explain. From what I'm aware, if say you have it set to all settlements, which I don't know why it does this by default, you're actually only seeing the settlement you're in. Now, unless you manually set it to all settlements, then you'll start seeing other settlements.
Okay.
But for some reason, it shows all settlements by default when it isn't.
Interesting.
If you head to a different settlement, then you'll start seeing stuff for even more, like even pricier stuff. Now, I will say, though, when I last played, I did see the market went down a lot. And that's probably because of bots.
Yes.
But there's also a lot of new stuff and a lot of stuff that's more expensive than what it was back then as well.
Right. And that are unable to be botted or whatever, which makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You guys have anything else to add? Or?
Well, no, I was just going to say, like wood, for example, the starting wood is very different than later game wood.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, yeah, right. Because in the starting areas, you can only get up to level 50 wood or whatever. It's like large tree or small tree. It's not really like, or green wood or.
You come across the odd, like, level 75 or something tree that it's like glowing blue.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That makes sense.
It's, but I think we've, rabbled on about this a little too long.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I mean, I did entirely for every game that I've talked about.
no, and it's cool. I'm looking forward to going up north in the map.
I am as well.
Hopefully it gets better and rewards us for our time. But yeah, I think we should leave it there. And...
Sure. So I just want to end with I give it a recommend. I enjoyed. If you like MMOs with action combat and a decent storyline, give it a try. So, and anyone that's listening, always remember that you have 2 hours. If you buy it on Steam, you have 2 hours of game time and 14 days or 14 days. So, if you download it, give it a try the combat out for the first hour and a half. If you don't like it, return it. So,
trick: keep your phone, turn a timer on.
Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah, because you can always lose track of time, right?
Yeah, very easily in this game. But
yeah, like set an alarm for like an hour and 30 minutes later. And if you don't like it, return it.
That's a good point. That is a good point. All right. I have one more game to talk about, but I think we're just going to put that off till next time because I don't want to ramble on anymore. We've already had an hour and 18 minutes. So does anyone else have anything they'd like to add it to the end? I think we're going to skip trivia this time around because we just talked for a while. Colin, we know you want to win again.
Well, I've actually been losing.
Okay, well you win by proper rules, but I've been trying to make other people win because you're too freaking smart for your own good.
So I win by normal rules, but lose on technicality.
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. And that is intentional because fuck you.
Oh wow.
All right.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah. All right. Does anyone have anything else to say, or?
Nah, I think we're
All right, Carnage. You want to go ahead and end
well
this?
done here. Yeah, that's going to be it for another episode of Press C for Carnage. Make sure you check us out on our socials. Press C #4 Carnage. Until next time, see you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.